How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of a Track Call Quest. And as you can see on this table here, we finally got some parts in. I've been waiting for these parts for a while, and they finally arrived. So here are my new radius arms that we're going to be installing on my 1994 Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series that I call Dusty. Very impressed with these radius arms. These are actually designed by a company called Delta Vehicle Systems based out of Idaho here in the United States. I had them press in brand new OEM Toyota rubber bushings, and these are designed for a 5-inch lift. Caster already set in the arm, so I'm going to eliminate the caster plates in the truck. So I do want to do a weight comparison from these arms to factory arms, and we're going to do some measurements to see exactly what they actually accomplished in their design. So I'm really excited about that. I did order up this tool here by TMR Customs. It's do-it-yourself toe alignment plates that actually bolt onto your rotor assembly or your axle, and it allows you to measure your toe. So guys, for these 80 series and the 105 series, everything pivots off the rear mount, right? So that's how the radius arm works. This is your main rear pivot. So the whole suspension pivots on this arm. What's cool about these arms is that they're 1 inch longer over stock. What you need to understand is the more height you go on these radius arms, the further back that front axle sits in your wheel well. So it's not sitting in the stock location anymore. It's actually sitting further back on the truck, which makes it look kind of funny. So since they've corrected for that, this should bring my wheel back to stock position with 5 inches, which I'm really stoked about. So enough said, let's get into this. We're going to apply a little bit of heat on these bolts because I did use some red Loctite on there, so that'll ease the removal. Pretty tight quarters. Got the actuator skid plate on there. That might cause interference. This nut. So, of course it does. So we're gonna pound that sucker back this way. Just give it a little love tap here. That should be enough room here. There it goes. And there is my caster correction plate. Okay, this bolt's not going to come off because I have some sort of bracketry back in here I got to remove first. Alright, so let's do that. So here's my brake line. This bracket runs all the way down. There's 2 bolts that hold that bracket in place. Okay guys, we got the bracket free. Should have enough clearance for that bolt. gonna pull this nut off. We'll leave the bolt in place. Okay. There it goes. Alright guys, so we're gonna pull this bolt out. Got interference there, so I gotta lift up on the exhaust in order to get this bolt out. Try to do this without getting hit in the face. Radius arm. There we go. Here's a little comparison. We have the rear pivots lined up, and you can see where they've actually built in the caster into the arm. Here I ran the bolt through the rear pivot mount on this radius arm. This end is what mounts to your frame and mounting bracket. I ran a second bolt through the second bushing, and these arms do not line up due to the fact that the DVS arm is 1 inch longer over stock, which is correct. So we measure from center line to center line. It is at 1 inch. So these are 1 inch longer over stock. So the main body of the DVS arm is 1 inch compared to 1.5 inches over stock. But these are kind of set up where they look like they're an I-beam for strength, right? The rear mount here for the bushing is 1 inch 7/16 for the DVS arm, and that is true for all 3 bushing locations, compared to the stock arm, which measures right at 1 5/8. Yeah, 1 5/8. So DVS arms are a lot narrower, which allows for better articulation over stock. Now we're going to do a weight comparison. We're going to weigh our stock radius arm at 22 pounds and 6 ounces. Okay guys, we're going to place the DVS arm on the scale here. We are measuring 27 pounds 5 ounces. I like running the bolts in this direction. Just like that. And we're going to temporarily just run the hardware or the nut onto the bolt. Just like that. Okay guys, so we are not lining up correctly. This axle has to move forward just a bit due to the fact that these are longer over stock. Okay, now we're gonna jack this puppy up. We are right here. Okay, so now we're gonna hold the arm up while we try to line this up. Okay, we're just gonna run this nut on the bolt. We're gonna keep it loose for now. Now we're gonna tackle the driver's side. Okay guys, so next step is we're gonna remove these two brackets here. This actually secures the ABS wire as well as your electronic actuator wire for your front locker. Let's go ahead and pull those off. I believe just a couple 12mm bolts. There we go. Oh, yeah, I went too much. Alright guys, so I'm having an issue rotating the pinion downward in order to line up a couple holes for the new radius arms. And the issue is that this track bar is kind of binding everything up. So what I need to do is loosen up a couple jam nuts up on top. This is an adjustable track bar made by Dobinson. It's a very stout track bar. Oh yeah. Yes. So now, with the track bar loose, we should be able to rotate the pinion angle in the downward position, going this way. A lot of tension right there. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and use 272 red Loctite, and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these bolts down. As you can see, we have two holes rather close to one another. This is the original hole here, and this is the hole I drilled out to be able to actually use the caster correction plates. So yeah, I'm not really too happy with the amount of material I have between the two holes, so I've been thinking about my whole approach on how to maybe repair that. So I've been thinking about maybe cutting some tabs, round tabs that'll sit in the hole, and then I'll be able to just weld that in place. Butterfingers. So the weight of the vehicle is on the suspension. So whenever you tighten down your suspension bolts, you gotta have the weight on it. We're gonna open up this tab here. That bracket should just slide out, like so. Okay guys, we're gonna install our supplied 13mm bolt, just like so. Secondary washer and your nylon lock nut. On the bolt. Washer. Alright guys, so we are done. No, not really. We still got to do the front wheel alignment on Dusty. But at least we're done with the install of the Delta Vehicle Systems radius arms. It's a pretty straightforward install once you figure it out. And it took me a while. I could not get that front axle to rotate So you have to rotate the pinion angle downward towards the floor in order to achieve positive caster, I believe. And so it fought me for a while. I had to take a step back, kind of look at things, and come to find out it was a front track bar. It was all bound up. And I am running an adjustable track bar, so once I loosened up the two jam nuts, I was able to rotate the track bar where it's supposed to be. So now it's going to actually travel freely in its axis without any bind. Oh man, once I figured that out, it was like, here we go. Pretty straightforward from that point on. One other thing I do want to bring up is you're going to have about 10 pounds of additional weight on your truck. So you're going to be adding 10 pounds of unsprung weight to the vehicle. Alright guys, so that pretty much does it for this video. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. Be on the lookout for the next video where we're going to get more into aligning Dusty here. So we're going to set the toe in proper, the way it's supposed to be. So I bought a set of TMR do-it-yourself alignment tools, as well as we're going to talk more about the tire I run on Dusty by choice. And I'm going to probably get into explaining the reason I had such bad wear on my tires, but that was by choice. So that's about it, guys. So I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned. There's more to come. And please hit that subscribe button.